When the exam scores were released, both my boyfriend and I got zeros. His family went absolutely crazy while I stayed calm and collected. In our previous life, his family had used a system to copy my answers during the National College Entrance Exam, live-streamed the score reveal, and instantly went viral. I, on the other hand, died tragically in a car accident while trying to protect him. Even after death, he slandered me on that same live stream, accusing me of obsession and desperation. I became a national laughingstock. My mother, devastated, went gray overnight and fell into a deep depression. She eventually passed away from heartbreak. But now that I've been given a second chance, things will be different. This time, when Leo tried to copy my answers, I intentionally filled the sheet with wrong ones. Let's see how well he does with that. Let's see how he ruins his family with his own hands. The day of score checking arrived. I, the former top student in the entire grade, had zeros across the board. Meanwhile, my class group chat was buzzing with congratulations. Leo Lin had performed beyond expectations and became the national exam champion. I watched deadpan as Leo's live stream showing his score skyrocketed in popularity. Viewers praised him like he descended from the stars. Even another girl showed up on camera, smiling sweetly next to him to celebrate. As I called her to confront the situation and stormed out of the house, fate struck again. Hit with a double blow, I was too distracted to notice the car barreling toward me. My soul hovered above, watching it all unfolds. I saw Leo on stream, faking tears and twisting the story, saying I was obsessed, making things up out of jealousy. When my zero score was revealed, the internet exploded with scorn. She's delusional, they said. He's the national exam champion. She's just a jealous mess. One got early admission to Harvard, the other can't even pass a test. A perfect couple versus a pathetic leech. Know your place. Leo's family basked in fame and fortune, while my mother, the one who gave everything for me, grieved herself to death. What kind of justice was that? Then suddenly, everything changed. In a flash, a massive exam paper appeared before my eyes. It was my test paper, but with Leo Lin's name and registration number printed on it. I reached out, and the world flipped upside down. When I opened my eyes again, I was back in senior year. I could hear a robotic voice in my ear. Congratulations, Master. You have activated the couple life system. Simply obtain the national exam champion title that originally belonged to your girlfriend April Cheen, and you will switch life outcomes. Reminder, your current outcome is family ruined, death under mysterious circumstances. Do you agree to bind the system? And then Leo Lin's voice came, without a moment's hesitation. Agreed. That's when I realized just how fake his love really was. Binding complete. Congratulations, Master. You have unlocked the answer sheet copy-paste function. Reminder, this function can only be used between romantic partners. No wonder I got zeros on my last exam. He had literally stolen all my answers. He became the national exam champion. I handed in a blank sheet. Of course I got zero. A loud bell snapped me out of my thoughts. Class was over. As the students filed out, Leo came bouncing up to me with his usual cheerful grin. April. Come sit at my desk for lunch today. My mom's bringing food. I looked at him coldly. What an actor. We met in middle school and started dating in high school. He was handsome, the type I always liked. Our families were liberal, they'd met early on and approved. But I had no idea he only got close to me because my dad owned a business. We were rich, so I was useful. Now that he had a better option, he didn't hesitate to throw me away. He even smeared my name for attention. Worst part? His mother, Vivian Lin, had always been my mom's best friend. She used that friendship to seduce my dad, Victor Cheen, her long-lost first love. Vivian moved into the building across from us, pretending to be a good neighbor. I used to treat her like a future mother-in-law, calling her Auntie Vivian, with genuine warmth. Turns out, being too kind only gets you eaten alive. It was me. I ruined my mother's life. In this lifetime, when Leo Lin gazes admiringly at Hannah Han, his new beauty of choice, I feel nothing. When Vivian greets me with fake enthusiasm, I don't return the smile. Leo, I said flatly, let's break up. His eyes widened like a startled deer. He went pale. Seeing him panic was almost funny. Of course he was scared. Without dating me, he couldn't use the copy-paste function. Without cheating, he'd never steal the national exam champion title from me. Without it, he'd be doomed, family ruined, death under mysterious circumstances. As predicted. Vivian, unaware of our conversation, tried to smooth things over. April, what's wrong? Why break up suddenly? If Leo did something wrong, Auntie would scold him for you.
Yeah.
Right. That smiling mask was what tricked me into ruining everything. Leo tried to compose himself. April, did I do something wrong? Tell me. I'll fix it. Don't leave me, okay? His watery puppy dog eyes were always my weakness. I used to melt instantly. He was good-looking, enough to be a small-time online heartthrob. But I was done falling for that face. Instead, I put on a gentle smile and placed a hand on his cheek. All right. If you want to make things right, then do it. Leo nodded quickly. Anything. Then you and your mom can start by paying back the money you owe my family. Leo's family had been poor before. Even when they got some wealth, he stayed stingy. He always borrowed lunch money from me and forgot to return it. I used to think love meant support, never counting who paid what. I pitied him. Now I know better. Feeling sorry for a man will ruin your life. Giving up money for a man? That's not love. That's stupidity. What's more, Vivian Lin had borrowed quite a bit from my mom over the years. And my dad, Victor Cheen, did countless favors for her too. That flower shop she ran. It was practically built by my dad's sweat and effort. But my mom's been in poor health for years, and her memory wasn't what it used to be. She'd forgotten about a lot of the debts they owed. Now that I've been given a second chance, I swear, this time I'll make sure Vivian and Leo cough up every single cent. Sensing the tension, my mom tried to smooth things over with a forced laugh and urged us all to eat. She really was too kind. Back when my dad's company was struggling, she stood by him without complaint. Later, she gave up her job to become a full-time housewife at his request. She treated Leo like her own son. She trusted Vivian like a sister. And in the end, all she got was betrayal, a cheating husband, and a daughter who died a horrible death. After all those years, Vivian and Leo never once felt guilty. And my father? He just stayed quiet, enjoying my mom's loyalty and devotion, letting everyone treat us like fools. After I died, my mom's health took a sharp turn for the worse. She passed away not long after, quietly, full of grief. Thinking about that lit a fire in me. I wanted to cut ties with Vivian and Leo right now. But that would be letting them off too easily. I wanted them to fall hard. I wanted them to know what it felt like to go from the top to rock bottom. Seeing I wasn't joking, Leo's face darkened. April, we're dating. Isn't this breakup a little too sudden? Pay the debt, or we break up. I turned to leave. Leo quickly grabbed my arm. Fine, fine. I'll pay. How about 500? 500? What, was I some beggar on the street? He mocked off my meals for 2 years, borrowed money for tutoring and study guides, and all he offered was 500. I gave him a cold look. Didn't Vivian owe my mom money too? Let's settle everything together. My mom, ever the softest, quickly said, oh, I don't even remember that anymore. It's fine. Let it go. No way, I snapped. What kind of person doesn't pay their debts? Vivian doesn't want to end up on a debtor blacklist, right? Because I sure don't want to be related to someone who dodges payments. Vivian's face twisted, her expression darkening. April, that's not a very nice thing to say. I'm still your elder, after all. Then act like one. Set a good example, pay up. My mom tried to speak again, but I shot her for a look. She stayed quiet. No matter the situation, she always supported my choices. Vivian was silent for a moment. My mom looked worried, glancing between us. I patted her hand to reassure her. Then Vivian's fake smile came back. Clearly, she'd just gotten wind of the system. Oh April, it's all Auntie's fault. My memory's so bad lately. I forgot completely. I'll pay right away, how about 10,000? I smiled politely. Make it 100,000, Auntie Vivian. I've got every detail written down, in case you want me to show you. Her smile froze on her face. I went on. Don't forget, that flower shop of yours? My dad helped build it from scratch. Let's call it a nice round 100,000. Vivian's jaw clenched, but she nodded. At that moment, I dropped the act and grabbed her arm with a bright smile. Auntie Vivian. I'm so sorry, I really thought you were trying to stiff us. I knew you weren't that kind of person. She forced a hollow laugh. My mom frowned. Clearly, she'd known my dad helped open that flower shop. But she probably thought the money had already been repaid. What she didn't know was that all of it came out of my dad's pocket, no strings attached. Of course, Vivian never intended to pay it back. But things changed when I was the one asking. Vivian couldn't exactly say no. What excuse could she possibly use to avoid paying that kind of money? I made sure my mom went straight to the bank with Vivian after we got home. When I received a screenshot showing a transfer of 100,000 yuan into our account, I felt nothing but satisfaction. That wasn't just debt repayment. That was compensation, for me and my mom. For everything they put us through. After that, Leo and I went back to our lovey-dovey couple act. But this time, I wasn't bending over backward for him anymore. This time, he served me. He ran errands. He fetched my lunch. He submitted my assignments. Whenever I felt like it, I'd borrow money from him. But unlike me, Leo was stingy about cash. If I didn't repay him right away, he'd start nagging. I'd pout and say I was broke. Next time, okay? He'd complain. I'd threaten to break up. And he'd cave instantly. Serve him right. After all, he was bound to the system now, and I held the key to his fate. I figured he'd eventually go crying to my dad. And I was right. That afternoon, I got home to find Victor Chin and Vivian Lin waiting on the couch. My mom, as always, was doing chores, acting like she didn't notice the tension. I sauntered in with a grin. Auntie Vivian, you and my dad look like quite the pair from afar. Both froze. My dad immediately scolded me. Watch your mouth. What nonsense are you saying? I laughed casually. Just joking, why so serious? As I set down my backpack, I glanced at my mom. Her expression was off, even someone as oblivious as she could tell something wasn't right. Victor quickly tried to change the subject. His tone grew serious. April Chin, he barked, I heard you demanded money from Vivian and Leo. What's that about? We're going to be one family soon, why keep a score like this? And borrowing money from Leo? What kind of behavior is that? Have I ever shorted you on food or clothes? What kind of example are you setting? His voice was sharp, authoritarian, the kind that made people tremble. Victor Chin had always favored boys over girls. Because I was his daughter, he never gave me the time of day. Not after he got married. I used to be terrified of him. I'd say yes to anything he ordered. I worked so hard in school, trying to prove that daughters could achieve just as much as sons. But no matter what I did, he treated Leo, who wasn't even his own flesh and blood, with warmth and pride. He treated me like a nuisance. At one point, I was even jealous. My boyfriend got more fatherly love than I ever did. Only to later find out. Leo Lin was Victor Chin's first love son. His true heir. The one he'd secretly hoped would take over the family business someday. If not for the company's reputation, my dad probably would have brought Vivian and Leo into our home a long time ago, treated them like royalty. I didn't hold back. Dad, even blood brothers keep track of debts. And it's not like Leo and I are guaranteed to become family. If being family means they don't have to pay us back, then fine, Leo and I can break up. That way, they'll have to repay what they owe. I'd never talked back to Victor like this before. He was stunned for a second, then his face twisted in fury, eyes practically spitting fire. You ungrateful brat. If you want to break up with Leo, then go ahead. Do it now. I raised an eyebrow. Clearly, Victor still didn't know about the system. Sure enough, before the words had even settled, Leo and Vivian both jumped up in protest. No. Absolutely not. Their outburst left the whole room in awkward silence. So, in Leo's mind, Victor was already dad. Vivian must have been drilling that into him for ages. Realizing he'd said too much, Leo rushed to fix it. Wait, what I mean is, I won't break up with April. She's family to me. I've always thought of you as my father. Please don't force us to split up. Bravo. What a performance. No wonder he blew up online in my past life, became a viral heartthrob. With acting like this, he could go straight into the entertainment industry. Vivian kept flashing Victor nervous glances, desperate to signal something. I was just about to pile on the pressure. But then I saw my mom, standing nearby, suddenly sway. And then she collapsed. Damn it. The doctor later said she fainted from overexertion and emotional stress. She need rest and monitoring. While I accompanied her for a full checkup, Victor, finally informed of the system by Leo, came over to comfort me for once. She just worries too much, he said stiffly. I told her to stop doing everything, but she won't listen. Don't worry too much, okay? And Leo's a good kid. With the big exam coming, don't fight with him anymore, alright? He made it sound so nice. If my mom really didn't do any work, then how did our home stay spotless? How did the business stay afloat and keep growing? It was all because she gave up everything to run this family. And now he had the nerve to tell me not to fight with Leo? I closed my eyes, the image of my mom collapsing burned into my mind. I could practically see the ending from my past life, her slow deterioration, her quiet death. Dad, I said coldly, you heard the doctor. She needs rest. Let's get her a full physical exam while we're at it. What a joke. My dad, some big-shot businessman, couldn't even be bothered to spend money on his own wife and daughter. My mom understood him too well. She wore old clothes, never bought new ones, and hadn't had a proper medical check in years. Victor finally nodded. I'll arrange it right away. And no more housework, let's hire a maid. Vivian didn't like that one bit. That won't do, she objected. The exam's coming up. What if the maid slacks off and Leo doesn't eat well? Oh. I turned to her with a smile. But your cooking's pretty good, Auntie Vivian. Why don't you take care of the meals? It'll save Dad some money, and you can help look after Mom while you're at it. Aren't you two besties? Victor's face immediately darkened. His goddess, his first love, do housework? Unthinkable. April Cheen. Your mom's not dying or anything. She just needs a few days rest. Vivian's got a flower shop to run, she's busy. Can't you be more understanding? That set me off. Oh, I see. Mom's not dying, so it's fine to work her to death slowly, huh? Honestly, it was like he wanted her gone. Fine, you're all so busy. So I'll drop out of school and stay home to take care of Mom myself. My mom looked panicked. April, don't joke about that. Your exams. I cut her off and leaned in, whispering, Mom, trust me this once. Vivian's face was a mess. She clearly didn't want to agree. She hadn't touched a kitchen tool in years. And now she was supposed to cook and clean? But she also didn't trust a maid with her precious son. You're not saying anything? I asked sweetly. Cool, then I'll just go make the call. Mom matters more than any test. I pulled out my phone, and before I could even dial, Leo snatched it from me. April. Don't worry, seriously. You don't have to handle anything at home. My mom will take care of everything, right Mom? He gave Vivian a sharp look. She clearly wanted to protest but forced herself to say, yes, yes. April, just focus on your studies. That was more like it. Once I brought Mom back home, I waited until Vivian went to cook, then sat down by the bed. All these years, my mom had poured herself into this family. Her face showed every line of exhaustion and stress. Meanwhile, Vivian stayed beautiful and carefree. My chest ached just looking at her. Tears began to fall, unstoppable. My mom tried to comfort me instead. She told me to tell her everything, that she could handle it. I clenched my teeth and told her about Victor's affair, and about the system. When she heard I died in a car crash for Leo's sake, only to be smeared online until there was nothing left of me, her eyes turned red and her whole body trembled. How could they? How dare they? I held her hand. Mom, don't worry. I will make them pay. As I stepped out of her room, I passed by the stairwell and heard voices. It was Vivian. Victor, what do we do now? I don't want to take care of her. When are you finally divorcing her? I've had enough. Vivian, Victor sighed, I can't divorce her without a good excuse. What if someone reports us? What would that do to the company's reputation? Right now, this setup works, she does the work, and you get the benefits. But I'm doing all the work now. Vivian screamed. Victor lowered his voice, trying to placate her. Vivian, think long-term. Once the exam's over, April will die in Leo's place. Her mom's in poor health. Once she's hit with that kind of grief, she won't last long. And then our good days begin. Imagine it, Leo becomes national exam champion, and everyone congratulates us. I'll book the best hotel in town for his graduation party. He paused, his voice softening slightly. Unless, do you really want Leo to die? Vivian fell silent, trapped. After the exam, Victor promised, I'll make it up to you. Vivian gave a pitiful nod. Oh, and I met a media company CEO recently. His daughter, Fei Yi, she's beautiful, kind, and talented. Leo wants to go into showbiz, right? I'll arrange for them to meet. Vivian lit up. See, I knew you still love me. I watched them hug in the stairwell. Quietly, I raised my phone and snapped a photo, then walked away in silence. Fei Yi. The name stuck in my mind. Wasn't that the same name as our school's second-ranked student? Coincidence? I did a quick search online, and sure enough, I hit the jackpot. She had her own search profile. This girl wasn't just anybody. Turns out, she really was our classmate Fei Yi. Beautiful, smart, and unbelievably rich. Her family ran a major media company, and she never even flaunted it. What's more, she appeared in Leo's live exam results stream in my previous life. They say she's kind-hearted and well-liked, not the type to steal someone's boyfriend. She must have been tricked by Leo. After all, barely anyone knew Leo and I were engaged as kids. People just assumed we were close family friends. I didn't want to get in trouble for dating too early, so I went along with Leo's idea of keeping it quiet. Turns out, that secrecy made it easy for him to two-time. Sure enough, not long after, I noticed Leo constantly texting in class. Worried she'd fall deeper into this mess, I decided to give the homeroom teacher a heads up. With the exam just around the corner, the teacher was cracking down hard. Leo's phone got confiscated and she had to write a full-blown apology letter. She was furious. If I find out who snitched, they're dead meat, she fumed at me. I looked at her fake innocence and nearly laughed. This was for her own good. She needed to focus. Otherwise, she'd end up crying in the middle of the test. But with no phone, Leo suddenly started calling in sick, skipping class and hiding out in the dorms. The teacher didn't suspect anything and even told her to get checked out at the hospital. Only I knew she was sneaking into Faye's PE class, trying to get close. She couldn't even wait for me to fully die before chasing her new toy. I thought about warning Faye, but then the Harvard early admission exam arrived. In my last life, I missed that test because I overslept, thanks to the sleeping pills Leo had slipped into my milk to help me relax. She'd looked so sincere back then. I was upset, but I didn't say anything. I took the blame in front of the teachers, figuring my grades were good enough to get into Harvard through the regular exam. But her trick worked like a charm. This time, the day before the test, she handed me the same bottle of milk. Once she left, I dumped it straight down the toilet. The next morning, before the sun even rose, I boarded a flight to Boston under my mom's cover. When the admission exam was over and I returned home, no one had noticed a thing. Thanks to her recovery and ironically Vivian's care, my mom was doing much better. She'd seen through their masks and didn't hold back anymore. Vivian had to juggle her flower shop and housework. She was no longer radiant, wrinkles now etched around her eyes. I heard her complain to Victor many times, but all he did was comfort her with, just wait till after the exam. As the exam neared, their attitudes toward me softened noticeably. April, they beamed, the exam's almost here. You've got to give it your all. Yes, the Chin family is counting on you to come back a national exam champion. All they wanted was to get it over with and relieve the pressure. Too bad. What they didn't know was that the Harvard admission results had already come out. And I'd already been accepted. During the days of the national exam, Victor Chin took time off work to personally drive Leo and me to and from the exam center. For once, he had a big smile on his face. I wanted to see how long that smile would last. Sitting in the exam room, I stared at the familiar test paper. I knew the correct answers to every single question, but I left them all blank. I handed in my paper early, walking out ahead of everyone else. Wow, that was exhausting, I sighed dramatically. Victor beamed. Yes, it sure was. Keep up the good work on the next one. I gave him a small smile and said nothing. Of course it was exhausting. Do you know how hard it is to avoid every correct answer? After the exam ended, Leo broke up with me without a hint of guilt. I didn't bother stopping him, and he didn't suspect a thing. That night, I overheard a phone call between Victor and Vivian. It's done, Victor said, sounding thrilled. April was the first to finish every subject. We're in the clear. Once she and her mother are out of the picture, I'll file for divorce. Let's go out and celebrate. Too bad their celebratory dinner never happened. Before they could make their move, both Victor and Vivian were arrested. Someone anonymously posted pictures of Victor's affair online, causing an uproar. The photos were plastered all over the company's entrance. On top of that, someone reported Vivian's flower shop for using a fake business license. The authorities cut power and began investigating. Meanwhile, Leo was vacationing abroad and couldn't make it back in time. Victor, desperately, called my mom and me for help. He begged us to do damage control, salvage the company's reputation, and pull strings to get Vivian released. I pretended to agree. Then I booked a tour group and took my mom on a well-deserved vacation. Now comes the fun part. On score release day, my mom and I were soaking up the sun on a beach. I reactivated my old phone number and found dozens of angry messages from Leo. April Chin, just wait. The day results drop will be your funeral. I didn't bother reading the rest. Oh, Leo. Still dreaming about becoming the national exam champion? Just like in my previous life, he went live on social media, titling the stream, National Exam Score Check, High School Boy Live. His looks and the exam buzz quickly brought in thousands of viewers. The stream shot to the top charts. And right there on camera, next to him, was Fei Yi. Someone commented, "Hey, handsome, is that your girlfriend?" Leo laughed and shook his head. "Not yet," he said, "but she promised if I became the national exam champion, she'd say yes." The stream exploded with excitement. "OMG, you're amazing. Smart and good-looking. Instant follow." Leo basked in the attention. "Faye is incredible too. She's already secured a spot at Harvard. The exam is just a warm-up for her." He didn't see the one comment floating up. "Wait, Faye didn't get into Harvard early, are you sure?" Faye tucked her hair behind her ear and smiled calmly. "It's time, Leo. Check your scores. Your parents are waiting downstairs." He tapped the screen and pulled up his score interface, pointing it at the camera. A moment later, viewers began screaming in the comments. "Whoa. Leo, I got 735. I'm the national exam champion." Faye's voice hit like a sledgehammer. Leo stood frozen. "How?" She said this was just a warm-up. He panicked and flipped his phone around to check his own scores. And then he froze. 0. Across the board. The comments went wild. "Is this a comedy skit? Bro, just reversed humble bragged himself into a corner. Handsome face, no brains. Imagine flexing like this and scoring 0. Faye turned to the camera with a dazzling smile. "See? I'm the champion." I knew she was speaking to me. Before the admission exam, I had approached Faye and told her everything about Leo and me. She was furious, calling him every name in the book. "What a scumbag," she spat. "Leave it to me. We planned a show." She pretended not to see me at the test center, let Leo believe she had gotten into Harvard. A few chats, a few tasks, and she kept him so busy he didn't even have time to question the truth. "Manipulating guys like him," she said. "Easy as pie." She wasn't even bitter about me scoring higher than her on the early exam. Please. I could still get into Harvard on my own. But even she couldn't hide her shock when Leo's scores popped up. He turned pale to her face. "Didn't you say you were already admitted to Harvard? Then why'd you score so high?" Faye smiled. "Harvard? That was a lie. Your girlfriend April Chen's the one who made it in." She leaned in, her voice sweet as poison. "What? You didn't know? Oh right, you've been busy chasing me since the exam. No wonder." One moment, the viewers were roasting him for his scores. The next, they were screaming about the cheating scandal. 0 points and still cheating? This guy's unbelievable. Report him. Report him now. 2 amazing girls, 1 champion, 1 Harvard bound. And he threw it all away for clout? This kind of scum wants to be a social media star? Embarrassing. Back at Leo's house, Vivian and Victor had been watching the live stream from downstairs. But when the tide suddenly turned against them, they rushed upstairs. Vivian grabbed Leo's phone with shaking hands. The screen still displayed his score, 0. The bright red 0 shattered her completely. 0? How could it be 0? How could this happen, she shrieked, turning to Victor. Say something. What do we do now? It's all April Chen's fault. It's her fault. Faye cut in coldly, are you out of your mind? Your son flunked the entire exam, what does that have to do with April? Leo was still frozen, murmuring to himself, no way. How could April Chen score 0? Victor, too, was fuming, face red and neck bulging. Meanwhile, on the other end of the internet, I calmly typed and sent a few comments into the stream. Wait, isn't that Mr. Chen? That's not his wife, right? Who's the woman getting all cozy with him? Oh my god, more drama. This is insane. What a mess. These people are just the worst. The whole internet erupted. We're going to find April Chen and get the real story. Let's go. Everyone online was roasting Leo and his whole family. Well, congrats to him, he'd finally become famous, just like he wanted. Only, not quite how he pictured it. I didn't wait for them to come to find me. The next time I saw them, was on the trending topics list. Apparently, shortly after ending their disastrous livestream and rushing out of the house, the entire family was involved in a car crash. All 3 were pronounced dead at the scene. Just like that, they went off to the next world, together. The whole event was so absurdly dramatic it dominated the trending list for days. Faye, still shocked, demanded the full story from me. She wouldn't let it go until I finally caved. After hearing everything, she got so excited she insisted on turning it into a novel. She said she'd write herself in as the heroine's most important ally, the one who helped bring down the trash family. My mom found the idea hilarious and was already looking forward to reading the masterpiece. Later, I took both out for a fancy dinner. On the way home, we passed by Vivian's old flower shop. It had already been sold and taken over. The petals from old, decaying bouquets were scattered all over the ground, rotting and trampled. I looked at the mess and thought to myself. Karma always comes back. It's never early, never late. Just right on time.